best place is either here, where you have a good expansive flat, or in the very center. So that's what I'm going to do. This is the ventline vanair fan, which I have taken apart. That right angle screwdriver helps immensely. This is the trim, excuse me, the trim ring that'll go on the headliner. This is where it's going to be located through my ceiling air duct. This is the cap for the outside that goes over the fan, and you pull that handle down and it seals, quote unquote. I'm not sure about that foam. Might be replacing that with something a little more durable, and mounts to these tabs here like so. You pull the handle down, this seals against the housing, and black is unacceptable on a white van. So I've roughed this up with some steel wool, and I'm going to paint it white with this. It says wood, metal, plastic, and more. Paint and primer. This is already coated, but as you can see, when this is mounted on the roof of the van here, this will show. So that's going to get painted white as well. Then it'll all be white and hopefully blend in with the roof a little better. Prep to paint. What I did was use a cutting board material to cut out a template slash spacer slash reinforcement for under the roof, and it works great as a template on the inside of the van while you're figuring out where it's going to go, as well as the outside of the van to start drilling your holes and cutting the main opening. Here's what it looks like all painted. And this is the specific hardware I used. Just got it at Home Depot. I made sure to get stainless everything. The nylon locking nuts and washers for either side of the bolts. You can see I need one under here because I cut the holes just a little big to give you some wiggle room while fitting everything together. Well, I guess I'm committed now. Taped up a box to catch the debris so I didn't have to clean up metal shavings everywhere. And taped off the top so as not to scratch the surface. Marked my spot and cut the hole. Well, it was scary, but not as scary as I thought. I just used a jigsaw to cut this, being very careful. The metal does vibrate a little bit, so you've got to be real careful. Just go slow. A variable speed helps. I'm using a rat tail file to clean up all the edges. It's extremely sharp, so don't cut yourself. Again, here's where that template comes in handy to mark all your holes for your bolts around the circle. Drill them on through, and then you can easily mount it all up, putting down butyl tape around this opening where the bolts go through, which you'll see in a second. Very important, make sure you prime and paint all the open metal surfaces or they will rust. There's the butyl tape over the holes. Of course, it starts raining whenever you do a project like this. And here's the ring on the inside with all the stainless connectors tightened down. That's a two-person job. And then I use some self-leveling RV type sealer. And since you already have it out, you might as well prevent leaks. And we'll test this right away because it's raining. So I covered it up. Don't forget to do the 2 screws that hold that lid on because water will get through there. Transit passenger wagon with rear air. Causes new challenges because of the ductwork for any vent fans. I really don't want to go this side because of where the roof ribs are. and I don't want to distort the roof. There just isn't room for a big square fan, a Fantastic or a Max Air. So I'm going with a vent line, just a single round vent. But we're not living in this or camping in it, so you just need the occasional ventilation to let the condensation out. More than one would be ideal. I thought about two, one on either side, and cutting that duct in on either side, but what I'm going to do is, and I'll probably show, make a ring that goes around the inside of this hole so that the airflow can still get past it and through all the vents. It's pressurized when it's running, so it should be fine. It shouldn't hamper any of the air conditioning qualities. This is the interior. This is the front with all the headliner removed. And this is the bottom side of the headliner. So one marshmallow topping bucket later, I came up with this. A plastic ring. It's going to go inside, like so. So I figure a little rivet through here into this, which is solid on the inside, will hold that side. And then some kind of bolts or pins or something from one side to the other. A few other points to hold that in place, and then I'll put some sealant around here and this edge inside, and we'll be good to go. Airflow from the end. Actually, that's the output side. So this is the inlet side, and it splits off. I don't think I'll lose too much pressure because it's got all of this side. This will sneak through, and then there's this side up to the front vents. And here's how I handled that. Drilled some holes and put zip ties through to keep this centered. I did use one rivet here to the back of this indent. Now that'll stay put enough to put a bead of sealant, silicone, I'm not sure what yet, whatever I have in stock, and seal the top and bottom. This hole is slightly larger than the hole I need for the fan. I'm going to have to make an extension for the fan, so it'll be, if you're looking from up to the roof, this is the side that faces down, and there'll be clearance for the trim rings here for the air vents and for the fan. They should just touch right here. I'll have to make the extension that comes down to the headliner level, right about here. It's probably going to be about 4 inches. I insulated the roof with Thinsulate, which poses another challenge because the Thinsulate is too thick to go above all this ducting, between the ducting and the ceiling. So I kind of thinned it out in that section. Really don't have much of a choice. I thought about not putting anything there, but I didn't want it to be completely uninsulated. So here's the Thinsulate above the duct. Again, kind of thinned out so that you've got the clearance. And then I wired up this duct because it just doesn't want to stay up there once you put the Thinsulate on. I put the wires, it only has an on-off switch. So I put the wires down through the headliner, through this pillar, and obviously I need to power it. So I've got a cheap PWM speed control DC in this old Sony box. And I'm going to mount that here by the pillar because this is where my auxiliary battery is going to live when traveling. And then we need the power to get to that. This is temporary, but I've got it powered up to the cigarette lighter plug in the van, which I'll have the option to do, or plug it into my auxiliary battery setup. Again, that's going to sit here. It has an on-off switch, so if you leave it plugged in it's not going to draw any power until you click this on. There's an LED in here that you won't be able to see because it's in a box, but as you speed up the fan, the LED gets brighter. So that's full power. Now I can ramp it down to a slower speed, use less amperage, and be able to turn it on and off. And be able to plug it into the van directly or to the house battery. I'm not sure if you can tell the speed, but this is off, this is on. All the way up. And then I'll slowly turn it down. And off again. So pretty much infinitely adjustable. Thanks for watching. If this helped you out, please hit the like button and even subscribe to the channel because we've got more build projects to come.